The most talked about side effects of the student debt crisis is how it's forcing borrowers to delay traditional markers of adulthood. The most talked about side effects of this. The most talked about. The most talked about.
Going on YouTube, Matt here. So today we're going to be discussing if it makes financial sense for you to go to college and see if that's a good investment for you long term. So if you don't mind, please hit that subscribe button down below. It means the world to me, trying to get to 1,000 here. That's going to keep me motivated to keep pumping these out to you. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. All right, so number one and first thing right off the bat, I do have to say that if there is something specific that you want to go for, such as, you really want to be a doctor or engineer, let's say, for example, you were coming into a family of doctors and engineers, and that's just what has been done going forward. That's what you've known that you've wanted to do for your whole entire life coming up, and that is what you want to do, regardless of the money. Okay, that I would say college is a good investment to do. Okay, because that's what's going to give you happiness, that's what's going to give you peace of mind, and they do make a pretty penny. So if there's something like that, something specific, family oriented, I would completely go to college for. But if there is, you're viewing college as your ticket to financial freedom and the ticket to, a better job, there might be better options for you. So at this day and age, for me personally, I do have to say that I am against younger people going to college, and that is not without a multitude of reasons, which I'm going to explain here in a second. But number one being the debt that's accumulated from them. Okay, I mean, I have a ton of friends personally that came out of college with over 100 grand in student loans, and they're having a hard time even finding a job, and they're still working, either 9-to-5 jobs as, a gym clerk, or they're a waitress or bartender, that kind of thing. So just think about that for a second. If you go to a college degree, get a liberal arts degree or something like that, that's not something that's exactly marketable to an employer, that when you go to get a job, you're going to say, hey, I have X liberal arts degree, hire me. There is no tangible skills that's associated with this degree that is going to increase your income. Okay, you're going to start off in the same category as someone that, let's just say, did something else, became a real estate agent, got into some business activity when they were 18. You're going to be going against those people applying for you, and they're going to have a lot more experience than you going into this role. And another thing that has to do with the student debt, a lot of people that come out of college, they're moving right back into their parents' homes. Okay, so you go from age 18 to, let's say, around 21, 22 when you're going to finish up, let's just say, of undergrad, and you gain no tangible skills as far as completely living on your own. When you go to college, most of the times you're cooked for, you're cleaned for, you live in great dorm houses because college is a business and everything is taken care of for you. They create the narrative that you're a lot more on your own than you actually are in that case, obviously to keep you there, make you feel like you're doing something. But, in comparison to other people that are around that age making a lot more money, not getting themselves into debt at that time, you're going to become way behind. Which just gets me to my next point on the topic, and something that I'm very, very passionate about at this point, and that is lack of financial preparedness. Okay, a lot of times college doesn't teach anything about personal finance when they're in there. Okay, so a lot of times you're going to leave, you're going to have a bunch of debt, and you're not going to know what to do. Most people have no idea about index funds, real estate investing, where to even park their money besides a checking and savings account. And that's one of the things that college, I feel like personally, does on purpose to get the people in there. Because if they knew, and what I mean is these 18-year-olds knew how devastating 100 grand in student loans was at even a 4% interest rate, you wouldn't get the kids going to college. They wouldn't even think about it. If you can buy, if you can't even buy a beer at this point in time, and you can sign your name on the dotted line for 100 grand of student loans at 18, I think that's just preposterous. Another negative of college, and this is something that I found personally, is that there's such a stigma classified with college that if you are in college and you vary from this, stigma, which is the, everyone around in college, everyone, like your social circle, and you deviate from that at that given time, I mean, you become known as, sort of the outcast in that group, even if what you're doing is the best thing for you. For example, I had a buddy of mine in college who owns his own landscaping business, probably a millionaire at this point. And, he wouldn't go out, he wouldn't party, he wouldn't do anything. Everything he did, he was always in his room, he was always studying, he was always figuring out how to increase his business endeavors. And everyone was like, oh, wow, like that kid's weird. Like he's not doing anything, always made fun of him for it. And look at him now. He's a millionaire, but he is the wolf among sheep, mind you. So, he went out, he didn't care about the social stigma, and he got it done, okay? And he's way better off for it. If he continued with whatever degree he was going to be getting at that university, he would be nowhere near as financially successful as he is now. Okay. This is arguably the biggest thing about college and why I would view it as a con, is the time that it takes to get those degrees. With everything online now and a lot of education being online through either Google, YouTube, Coursera, any kind of thing, you could probably get the information that would have taken you 4 years to get at college in about 1 to 2 if you do it on your own. So, just think that from like a time standpoint, you're already way behind rather than someone that's done it on themselves without the degree. So, let's say, for example, you go to college 4 years to get a job making 40 grand. There's a guy that got in the union as a plumber. Let's say he started out at 40 grand, did that when he was 18. He's already had 4 years of earning experience on you. Okay, so he's already way ahead of the game on you for something that you've already just saddled yourself with debt. He has no debt and he started from the beginning. All right, let's think of this from advanced degrees. Let's say you become a medical doctor. You don't start your practice until, let's say, you're 32. So you're making a good amount of money at that point, right? Let's just say you're making 200 grand. Say that same kid who was 18 years old, became a real estate agent, built his business all the way up from that point, has no debt, and now he's also making 200 grand or more and has no debt associated with him. While I think the average medical school applicant and person that graduates it has about 500K in student loans. Okay, so keep that in mind. Even though you're making a pretty penny at around 200,000 when you graduate medical school, you're still going to have a lot more debt than the average person to pay off. Meanwhile, that other person that started early, got into business, got into sales, he's living the life. He's got no problems, got no debt. Okay. All right, so one of my final points here is that college is a business, okay? At the end of the day, I mean, they're reaching out to people, they're getting people come in, doing visits, a whole bunch of these things, trying to get them to come there and show them why it's the best, okay? They wouldn't be doing that if there wasn't a money factor in there for them, okay? College is a giant amount of money for them, okay? And they can make a ton of money off of you specifically. So keep that in mind, all right? While you're sitting there in La La Land, or like I like to call it, adult camp, okay, a lot of these people are going to be making money off of you, okay? So, I mean, if that makes your blood boil a little bit that all these people are getting me into this giant amount of debt, and then, they're making it seem like it's a great experience, and it will be a great experience until you get out and you have all that debt. So keep that in mind. I'm going to be talking next about, what I would do if I was a young person, if I could go back and do it all again. Now, I'm fortunate enough to not have any student loan debt because I was a resident assistant for a lot of the years, got room and board covered, and then had academic scholarships, so I don't have any student loans. However, if I could do it all again at 18 years old, I would get some kind of sales role in the beginning, very immediate sales, get used to talking to people that are in a higher power than me, getting used to be able to be, told no a whole bunch of times and being able to be okay with it. Would have built my business up, my book of business, that is, sales-wise from that, gained experience, gotten, 18 to 20 years old, still made a little bit of money. And then by the time I would have gathered that experience, I would have been able to apply to, a higher degree of jobs, get a very good job from that end, get into a better sales role, maybe start a business, that kind of thing with no debt. Okay, that's what I would do strictly from a financial standpoint as a young person. If you're considering this, like I said, if it's been your life passion to become a physician or something like that, by all means do it. But if you're looking for something that's going to make you rich, it is not college. Okay, when you look at people that have become rich, they don't say because I got my college degree and worked for 40 years. They just don't say it. Okay, interview any big rich person. It's because they have a business, it's because they've done something creative. So keep that in mind. All right, if you want to watch any more videos of mine, they're up here. Would appreciate the support. Deuces.